Well, the Titans' initial 53-man roster just came out today, and I'm here to break it down for you, tell you what I think, and just overall what I think is going to happen over the next few days. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the final 53-man roster. Well, final. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there are a couple of guys that end up getting cut or just end up, getting traded or something like that. Like, you'll see what I mean whenever we get on to this later. So you won't see that much of my face during this video because I'll be pulling up a article from Sports Illustrated showing what happened with the roster and who's officially on it. So anyway, let's get on to this. Okay, so we have the 53-man roster here right now. And here are my initial thoughts on it. First off, we got to look at quarterback. All right, we only have two quarterbacks. It's Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. I don't think that there's going to be a move for the third quarterback. I think that we're just going to stick with those two and just hope and pray that we can, get somebody later on in the season if both of them ended up going down, which I would be shocked by, as even though Will Levis I am a little concerned about. From what I remember from seeing from Mason Rudolph, he's kind of an Iron Man, so it would honestly shock me if he went down after Levis did. Anyway, so two QBs, not really that surprising. Let's move on to the running back room, though. There was a very intriguing battle for running back 3, as it seems that there is every single year that we're in Titans preseason. So, Julius Chestnut won the battle. Sorry about Sports Illustrated getting his name wrong, saying Julian Chestnut. It's Julius. Congratulations to him on winning the running back 3 job. I thought that he was the best pure rusher, but I thought that Hassan was going to make it due to his just incredible special teams presence. But, I feel bad for the guy, but he wasn't really that great of a running back, and I'm hoping that we at least keep him around on the practice squad. But anyway, moving on, let's talk about the wide receivers. Again, nothing really too unpredictable here. I mean, we knew who the first 5 were as locks, and then after preseason game 1 and game 2, we knew exactly who was going to be that 6th wide receiver. We knew Jet Jackson was going to 100% end up being that guy at wide receiver 6, and we're probably going to let him, return punts, and then we may even let him develop and maybe even take over for Tyler Boyd in a year if he is ready for that. And we'll go get a wide receiver 2 somewhere else. But that's just my opinion. So, anyway, now, moving on, this is whenever the first, big talking point happens. I talked about running back 3. It was in my notes right here, but this is, the biggest thing. Okay, so, 5 tight ends. I was confused, to say the least, whenever I first saw this. I mean, Thomas Odukoye, I am 100% convinced if he doesn't chase down Puka Nakua's brother to prevent that near disaster of a return touchdown off of a field goal attempt, then he does not make this roster. But he did, and it's probably just a tip of the hat thing. And if I had to take a guess, he's just going to be on here for a day or two, and we're going to sign someone else in free agency, and he'll get cut. Just wanted to let that be put out there. Or, I've heard this other possibility. What if one of these guys is getting traded? Specifically, Mr. Chig Okonkwo. Because he is the only one that really has, insane value on here that we could actually get good trading capital out of. And he is honestly, one of the only dudes I would expect to get packaged and maybe even go after a Hassan Reddick. I know that one's a little far-fetched, but him, a second, maybe a third, throw it in there, trade for Hassan Reddick and get that done. I could see that happening. Do I think it will? No, it won't. But I am intrigued to see what happens here with this position. But we got to move on to the O-line. Not that many surprises here. I did have one thing, though, that I was a little confused about. Left tackle, J.C. Latham, yeah. Skronsky was going to make the roster. Rupsich, sometimes there were some questions, but after his preseason, he didn't leave any doubt that he wasn't going to make the roster. Lloyd Cushenberry and Daniel Brunskill are the 2 centers. I was shocked that Corey Levin didn't get on the roster, as we specifically traded for him or not traded for him. We signed him because we felt like that we needed a backup center, but no, it's Daniel Brunskill. I mean, his fullback rep had to have helped out a little bit, right? Like, okay. Anyway, we have Dylan Radins at right guard, right tackle. Again, some of these dudes will probably move around the place, so this isn't like, like Rupsich will probably play left guard and right guard, depends on what the day needs him for. Like, if Skronsky's out, he'll probably play left guard. Radins is out, he'll play right guard, that type of ideal stuff. Right tackle, NPF, John Njoku, and this is whenever I have a couple of questions. Jalen Duncan made this year's roster. I was so confused about this. Jalen Duncan has a lot of potential. He looks like he'd be really good. He really isn't that great. But, like, my biggest confusion, honestly, was why did we not keep Jerron Christian over him? I thought that we brought in Jerron Christian to be the backup left tackle for J.C. Latham in case he were to go down or he's just not getting it immediately. Like, that's what I thought that he was brought in for. But it looks like that we decided to pick Jalen Duncan over him. We picked Jalen Duncan's upside over Jerron Christian's kind of meh play. So I trust Bill Callahan to develop that into at least something halfway decent, but I'm not too sure, man. We'll just have to see. All right, Sebastian Joseph Day and Keandre Coburn. Congrats to Keandre Coburn. The defensive line was a little bit of a battle because, it was like Quentin Bohanna, Aiton, like all those dudes. Like, there was a little bit of a battle here. Coburn ended up making the roster. Good for him. Devondre Sweat, that's not a shocker. Jeffrey Simmons, wow, I was really shocked about that. Outside linebacker, we have, so this was another thing that I found interesting. We kept Rashad Weaver and Caleb Murphy. I think that this one's a little bit strange to me, right? Because, I feel like that Caleb Murphy has been playing significantly better than Rashad Weaver whenever he's been in game. Rashad Weaver has not risen up to the occasion whenever he's been called on. He actually got pancaked by Trevor Penning, out of all people. The dude that's been considered a bust by New Orleans Saints fans. Yeah, that guy. He got pancaked by him and got locked down by him for most of the day. He had one good rep on him, and that was it. While Caleb Murphy, I feel like, has actually had a little bit of an impact during preseason. It hasn't been insane or anything. I feel like that he's had at least a little bit more of an impact than Weaver, and I felt like that we could have, cut Weaver and kept someone else. We'll get to that dude later, but anyway, inside linebacker, none of these are really insanely shocking. Kenneth Murray, Jack Gibbons, Ernest Jones. I do want to say something about him real quick. First off, really great trade. And second off, if you are here from the short, welcome. Happy that you could make it. But my thing is that I just want to let this be known right now. I'm releasing an episode on Wednesday, and it was recorded on Monday, so I didn't even know if Ernest Jones was going to get traded or not. So I just want to let y'all know that, just to have some context. Anyway, let's move on to the next person. Cornerback. Okay, I don't understand this. We kept Rashad Weaver, who was aggressively meh during Titans training camp and was potentially worse than meh during games. But we didn't keep, again, this is probably my Falls bias showing, but I felt like Gabe Jeudy-Lally has had some really good moments as a Titans cornerback in preseason and especially during training camp. What I don't understand is why we cut him. I feel like that we could have kept him as cornerback 5. But this is another signification for the 4 cornerbacks that there's definitely a good chance that we end up going to get a cornerback during tomorrow whenever, everybody is, getting cut and then, everybody gets picked up again. That type of stuff. Safety, not too much shocking there. This was about what we expected. Amani Hooker, Quandre, Jamal, Elijah Molden, Mike Brown. Nothing too shocking there. It did hurt my heart a little bit to see that Braden Narveson officially lost the kicker job, but we knew it was coming. It was kind of inevitable, honestly. Ryan Stonehouse was punter. It also hurt me a little bit to see Zetner getting cut. I knew it was going to happen there as well, but he deserves another place to start. Like, he was consistent. He wasn't no Stonehouse, don't get me wrong. Stonehouse is one of the best punters in the game right now, though. So, obviously, he's not going to be any Stonehouse, but he was a very solid punter for us, and I believe that he deserves a shot somewhere else if someone else needs a punter. Long snapper, Morgan Cox, that one was also obvious. And that's really about it. If you had to ask me who on earth I think is on life support for the roster cuts, let's take a look here. I think Gifford is kind of on the edge of potentially getting cut. I would say Cedric Grace, this was like year 3 or 4, but he's not getting cut. Rashad Weaver is on the edge. Maybe Caleb Murphy. Let me see who else is there. Njoku is 100% on the edge. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets cut tomorrow whenever we go to pick up somebody else. I don't think there are that many apart from Njoku, I don't think there are any offensive linemen on the edge. Odukoye is 100% on the edge. Another dude I wouldn't be shocked if he gets released tomorrow. Chig. This one's a little controversial because there's definitely a chance that we could end up trading him for something else, but it would shock me if we just left him behind and let Josh Wiley take the entire load. Let me see. I think that's really about it, though. Yeah, everybody else, you're safe in my eyes. So, if a Titans player is watching this, congratulations. You have the approval of a 300 subscriber channel. So, anyway, that's today's episode. I just wanted to, give my opinions on this Titans roster. I wanted to let y'all know what I thought and, who I thought was getting cut and who I thought should have stayed and who I think is going to get cut later on. And potentially we may end up going to get some free agents, get some more depth at some positions. I'm really excited to see what happens over the next few days. But anyway, I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all under the Titans Rundown if y'all want to go check that out. And for those of you who are new, I run a podcast known as the Titans Rundown, hence the name of the channel. So if y'all want to go check that out, I go every Wednesday talking about Tennessee Titans content. I've only missed one Wednesday, so I am consistent. So I just wanted y'all to hear about that. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.